Hey, wonderful person. We're back here talking about narcissism again. This is the 15 plus traits that your mom may have been a narcissist. I'm Frank, and before we get to it, if you like this kind of content, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and tell me and YouTube that you like this kind of content, and I thank you because it really helps the channel. Okay, so now let's get right into it. First sign is kind of easy. It's that your relationship with your mom ain't great. It's like uneasy. Like when you go to, this is a big one, when it's Mother's Day and you have to buy a Mother's Day card and all those cards don't fit. All those cards are too mushy and loving, and you often when you went to buy a card, you just had a raging argument with your mom, and or you're it's just not that kind of relationship, and it feels off, it feels awkward, it feels like you kind of want to have that kind of relationship but you never had, and you don't even feel like getting her a Mother's Day card. So yeah, that can be a thing. That is a big sign that you have some issues with your mom. Might not be narcissism, but just about all people that have a narcissistic mom have that issue. When it's Mother's Day and they got to pick out that card and all of them look too loving, and you just want, it's Mother's Day, happy Mother's Day, period. Because that's as far as you can go with how you feel. Another trait is that your mom may see you either as a trophy to show other people, look at how great my blank is, my daughter or son is, right? Look at how great it is. Look how great they're doing all the time, right? Or they might just try and hide you away because you're not that trophy, that because the narcissist doesn't see you as a child. They see you as something they can use towards something else. If they can't use you as a trophy to get adoration from society, then what good use are you? They'll just hide you away. And also, you'll see this too when you embarrass them. They're not like, I'm totally embarrassed about what happened. They go rageful on you. They put you down, they call you names, they oh, that's another trait right there. Okay, let's go to that one. uh, Sign number 3 that your mom may be a narcissist is that's how they argue. They don't argue where they trying to meet somewhere in between, like we come together, we argue, we hash our differences, and then we come somewhere in between, and we're not totally together on this, but we're meeting somewhere in between, and we get pretty much both what we want, or at least we air our differences in a healthful way. Narcissists are not like that. They are about shaming you. They are about manipulating you. They are about gaslighting you. They are about putting you down, name calling, yelling, temper tantrums, throwing stuff. That's not normal. If you have that, that is a huge red flag that your mom may be a narcissist, because that's not normal. And you can tell them that. If you still have a relationship with your mom, especially if you're a kid, you can tell them that this is not normal. This is not how it's supposed to be. And if you are a kid in a relationship with a mom that might be a narcissist, you need to open up to your doctors and whoever else you trust, probably very few, that this might be the case. And like doctors, they're not going to go right back to your mom. At least they're not supposed to. And I say this because narcissists will not be happy with that, because they feel that they are being threatened either by you or the doctor. Don't worry, they'll put the doctor down. They'll say the doctor's a quack. He doesn't know what he's talking about. But don't you ever do that to me again, right? That kind of thing. That is not normal. If you've had that situation, that is not normal. Red flags. You put these red flags up again and again and again, and you will see a pattern. And that pattern, if that looks like narcissism, then yeah, you have to get some distance between them. And the three distances are physical distance, mental distance, and psychological distance. Physical distance when you're older, when you're 18 or 17 and you're able to move out, 17 and a half, whatever it takes, you move out. As soon as you're capable to do so, you move out, because that's going to help you so much. And then you'll start to get the other distances. You'll start to get the mental distance where you're not running the narcissist arguments in your head and how you regret and how all these horrible things happened and what they did horrible to you and to other members of your family. Also, you'll start to get the psychological issues out of your head that will make you spin round and round in your life and not find fulfillment in your life. You'll always be searching. You'll constantly be searching. You'll be searching for the love and perfection or whatever it is in your life that you think is going to fulfill you, because it never got fulfilled in the first place when you were a child. It's definitely probably not going to be filled out in the regular world now as well. Another top trait, especially when they're arguing, is that they are hypercritical and judgmental when you make them look bad in any situation or any argument whatsoever. They name call, they yell, they scream, they put you down, they belittle you. That's not what an argument is supposed to be about. If they're arguing like that, then that's a big red flag that that is a narcissist. I have had a lot of arguments with a lot of people that don't have personality disorders, and we never go there. I never go there. Why? I'm trying to reach a middle ground with this person to get somewhere. But narcissists don't want to do that. It's all about wreck, ruin, and they don't have arguments. They have little wars where they destroy the enemy and then they move on. Another big sign is that when you have siblings, brothers, sisters, the narcissistic parent will try and put you guys against each other. Say that this one is so good. This one is behaving so well. Why can't you be like that? Why can't, in front of the other one? Obviously taking favoritism to set up a battle between the two siblings. Guess who's pulling the strings? The narcissist. Between both of them. Messing both those kids up, because now they're both going to have psychological issues, yet that they're going to have to straighten out later in life. But the narcissist feels that now they have control over the two kids more, and they have that superiority gap that they love so much. Here's another top sign that your mom may be a narcissist. Is there someone in the family that is the go-to black sheep of the family? That's the scapegoat. That's what the narcissist, and the narcissist likes to harp on that and use that all the time. And the narcissist will constantly go back to that person as the designated scapegoat, and the other sibling will be the designated trophy. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. This one makes me look good in public. This one is a problem, right? And everything that happens in life now, they're going to be blamed with. You're the reason why this didn't happen. You're the reason why this didn't go well. You're the reason, blah, 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 blah. And it's just, a lot of it is BS. Some of it's make-believe. So, it's not like they believe it, but the narcissist is playing that game. They're playing a psychological warfare game against both of them, and a little bit with themselves. They're gaslighting themselves and everybody else around them to believe this narrative that they are trying to build, that they have this wonderful life, and anything that goes wrong is not their fault, not the narcissist's fault. It's this black sheep of the family's fault, the scapegoat. Another big trait is that they get angry. The narcissistic moms get angry when you simply disagree. We all disagree. We are separate people. We have our separate interests, desires, outlooks in life in different ways. We all disagree, and so what? There's usually a happy middle ground honestly, a lot of the middle ground is better than what we planned out simply by ourselves. That's why we do things with other people. But the narcissistic mom gets upset at just disagreeing. That you have an opinion is aggravating to them. They like to have total control over all situations, and the kids are situations. And they like to have total controls over the kids' hobbies, who their friends are, what they wear, the whole thing. It's not just the helicopter mom thing, it's everything. It's total control because, like a narcissist, they like to have all these strings of control, puppeting everybody else to make themselves look good and to scapegoat, well, that's part of the making themselves look good, all the problems onto somebody else. And if you have a separate way to go in life or a separate interest or desires, they make you feel guilty for having those desires. They'll say things like, well, why don't you want to do this? And then they'll have some accusation behind it. Yeah, they're trying to make you feel guilty now and confused for wanting your own thing, for being your own person. Honestly, to the narcissist, they're wondering why you are your own person. Why don't you just be quiet and do what they tell you to do, and everything would be okay? That's how they see reality. Another big sign that your mom may have been a narcissist or still is a narcissist is anytime you asserted yourself in the household, in the family, it resulted in anger or hostility or just outright rejection from your mom. Like you put yourself out there and it got knocked down. The narcissist doesn't like other people on their turf, in their protection zone, because they see everybody as a possible threat. So when you assert yourself in the family or in the household, say like a child wants to, I don't know, decorate another room or bring some of their fashion sense into another room or something like that. I've seen that happen. The mom has a very hostile response to it, like you're invading on her territory, which is how she feels about it. She might use language like you're spreading out into the rest of the house. How dare you? You live there. It's your house. I mean, it should be a partnership like this. You should be able to have some influence over the rest of the house. Why is it that you are not allowed to do that? Why is it a hostile response for that? Narcissism, a lot of times. It's just the personality disorder. And another huge sign that your mom may have been or still is narcissistic is that her love is conditional. It's not unconditional. And if you get on her bad side, she pulls it back. You don't get that love anymore. How dare you, right? Who do you think you are? Kind of attitude. But if you do what she wants you to do, you get that love reward. That is not true love. That is not healthy love. That is putting love on a pedestal to be reached that you will never get to, because that's the idea. It's like putting a carrot out on a stick and dangling it in front of your face. Okay, come on over here, right? You're going to get love if you go over here. Oh, you're going to get love if you do this thing. You're going to get love if you do that. Oh, don't get too full of yourself on love. That's when I need to beat you down, put you in your place, and make you hungry for more love. It's all a big manipulation game to get more power over you, and so that she can have you do what she wants you to do rather than what you want to do. Because if you do what you want to do, then you're out of her control zone, and she doesn't have that superiority that she used to have. She doesn't feel like she's in control, like she's safe anymore. Another big sign that your mom may be a narcissist is that every time you have an argument or a discussion about anything in that direction, she puts it back on, changes the direction back to herself. Everything in the world reflects back to you. All roads lead back to the narcissist as far as the narcissist is concerned. And anytime you have a discussion that leads outside, it always comes back to, what does this mean to me? What is this doing to me? Why is this reflecting on me? Why are you doing these things to me? That'll always be the discussion, because everything comes back to them. As far as they're concerned, that's the truth. So if you're having a conversation with your mom and you feel like she's not listening or she hasn't listened, she hasn't. It's just, that's narcissism. They are not listening to this is how they see it. They're thinking in their head, I'm not going to listen to this person's ridiculous complaints because they're meaningless. I'll wait till they stop talking and then tell them why they are meaningless or their argument is meaningless. That's what's going on in their heads. And if you have had that kind of experience with your mom, that's definitely a big red flag that your mom is a narcissist. And some of that is just a lot up to take the control away from sometimes they see a discussion or a situation evolving out of their sphere of influence, and by making it all about them again, what they're doing is they're taking back control of that. If that happens enough, or the children are young enough, what people will start to do is automatically think of everything in the world as automatically how it affects the narcissist. And that's part of the control of the narcissist, to get people to automatically think of the narcissist first and how everything affects the narcissist. And one of the hugest red flags that your mom may be a narcissist is that she breaks boundaries, goes through your journal, goes through your drawers, throws stuff away that you love and you have said you love, but she throws it away anyway. Doesn't respect your desires, doesn't respect your needs, will say things about you to other people that shouldn't be said, breaking those boundaries. That's a big trait for narcissists. They don't respect your boundaries because in their head, that's not the way it should be, right? The narcissist should be in total control and everybody else should be subservient. So why would you need boundaries? That's how they see it. Another huge trait is that your mom lacks the ability to have empathy. So it's hard to convince her of anything that you're feeling. You're constantly feeling that you can't get your feelings across to your mom. Now, sometimes this takes place where the child is injured and the mom is like, fix it yourself. Where's the motherly love in that? I've seen situations where the child is bleeding and pleading for help from the mom, and the mom is like, no, not even. It's a wonderful day out. Well, yeah. So if that's happening, that is definitely a huge red flag. Another big trait that your mom may be a narcissist is they hold on to grudges. They never let it go. I hear that I never forgive and I never forget. That was a common one, right? That is a common one. Never forgive, never forget. And it is true. They don't. They hold on to grudges for way longer than anybody would normally do. They hold on to grudges for years, decades. I've seen narcissists hold on for grudges for all their lives that have lasted 80 years, 70 years, no problem. Holding on to the grudge. That really, honestly, never involved them anyway. It's just they got emotionally attached to something and they felt like it was wrong and they just held a grudge for it and no real reason. And it ruined their relationships with some of their siblings. They're okay with that. Yeah. So if your mom is holding on to grudges a little too long, and it could be for something really simple, and then she's still talking about it 2, 3, 4 months later, weeks, months later, Yeah, that is a big sign that you're dealing with a narcissist and your mom is a narcissist. That's a big narcissistic trait. And that's because they see themselves as a victim and that you have violated them. They're a victim. They're laying on the ground. They're all victimized. And then you stepped on their neck, man. You hit somebody when they were down. That's how they see it. And they're never gonna, that makes you one of the villains in their life, is whatever you supposedly did to them. And they don't want to let anybody forget it because they got to play the victim and everybody else has to play or at least be projected as the abuser. And the last big sign that your mom may be a narcissist, and honestly, the last sign you may see that your mom is a narcissist, is that she has codependent relationships, especially with her children, right? So she's not able to let you go and doesn't want you to go and says, you need me. Or things like the child being with the mom way, way too long into adulthood. Some children never leave their moms. Yeah, and it evolves, right? Sometimes they're the narcissistic mom that holds on to the child for a very, 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 very long time. I'm talking decades. And then the narcissistic mom becomes disabled and can't leave and maybe gets dementia or something else, and the relationship evolves and it's not abusive anymore, but the child is still there. So a child can be with a mom. I've seen children be with the mom into their 90s. Yeah, codependency, right? They're constantly codepending. The idea of a healthy relationship with your children is to raise them to leave the nest, right? Like a bird that's supposed to fly elsewhere. They're not supposed to clip their wings, so they stay there. And a lot of manipulation by the mom will go on to make the child stay there. Maybe not even by telling them to stay there, but by telling them they're not worthy of leaving. They're not worthy of earning enough money to leave. They don't know what they're doing. They're too stupid. They're too dumb. They're too pathetic. They're too lazy. They throw all these names, right? All these names around. If some of these are triggering you, yes, your mom may be a narcissist. And I still say, yeah, the best thing you can do when you've been affected like this, when you've been hurt, damaged by a narcissist, are to get those three distances. If you're an adult and you still live with your mom, gotta get that distance, man. You gotta get that physical distance. I'd rather live out of the trunk of my little car or in a cardboard box under a bridge than live with an adult narcissistic mom. I'm telling you, it is so much better here on the other side to live without narcissists in your life. It's so much better. And then you got to get the psychological distance and the mental distance to stop running these arguments around in your head. Your mental space is supposed to be about what brings you joy, what maybe brings you money, right? Get your life together. This is a mental space, and your psychology is going to help you get your life together. Because if you have the wrong psychology, you're just going to mess things up in different ways than your parents did. So that's the biggest signs that I've seen that your mom may be a narcissist. And if your mom was a narcissist, I would highly recommend you go seek therapy because it's going to be so great for you. You got to get distance, physical distance from your narcissistic mom, and that'll open up your psychological distance and your mental distance. So you're not running these arguments in your head all the time and reliving the trauma all the time. And a therapy will help you get that psychological distance from your narcissistic mom. The psychology really helps. A therapist really helps. It's not, you don't go to a therapist, the narcissistic mom hates therapists because they are a control unit, and that may be passed down to you. A inherent distrust of authority figures, like doctors and psychiatrists or some of those, and don't. I mean, they're just there to help you. They're not there to get into your head. They're there just to help you sort through your stuff. That's what a therapist does. You can't do it. If you can't do it on your own, they're not going to do it for you. That's what that's what the therapy session is, to help you do it on your own. And it can turn your life in from night to day. It's really going to help you. And if you have a narcissistic mom, I almost guarantee you have psychological issues going on and mental issues going on. And that's just going to hold you back in life. It doesn't mean your whole life is going to be terrible or that something terrible is going to happen from it. But it just means that the great things that you could be having in life, you're not going to have. You will miss a lot of great things in your life because your mom was a narcissist. But you can get all that back. You can jump right back in. You can get back into therapy. You can get back into having all your distances, all your health, which is the same as your physical health, right? Your body's going to look better. Your psychological health, your psychology is going to be better because now you have this distance. And your mentality is going to be better. You're going to be thinking about the great things that you can do in your life and you have done in your life. And your mental space is good. The sun is going to come out in your mental space. So I hope this helps you. Have a great day, and let's get on with our lives after narcissism. Boom.